Okay, so look, the round of 16 is now basically upon us, guys. The round of 16 of the Euro 2024 is upon us. Okay, so look, let's just go through it quickly. Okay, Austria, number one, the Group D winners. Okay, they lost their opening game to France, but then I think they were the better side in that particular game. They were just unfortunate to lose that one. It was an own goal that resulted in France actually winning that game, and they won emphatically. They won convincingly. You understand, against Poland by 3-1, as well as surprisingly against Netherlands. You understand? But that was a great game. That was a great game to actually watch. The game between Netherlands and Austria. And so, look, the last time they actually reached their pedigree of reaching the round of 16 is not actually good. Remember, the last time they reached it was in 2020, okay? And they lost to Italy, the eventual winners of the tournament, by 2-1 after extra time. And not so many people, including myself, would have expected Austria to actually win a tough Group A, especially after they lost their first game to France. But Ralf Rangnick's side, is so exciting with young players. They put in two scintillating attacking performances, scoring 6 games in 2 matches in Berlin to actually defeat Poland as well as the Netherlands. Netherlands. Damn. And, Austria have never progressed beyond the round of 16 at a Euro championship. But, they've got a talented team and they've got every chance of making history in Germany. But let's look at their coach, Ralf Rangnick, known as one of the godfathers of, Gen pressing, G-Gen pressing. Rangnick has left an indelible mark, on modern football. And, he's Austria's current crop of players. No longer a side, inhabited by a defensive mindset. Rangnick's charges have produced some eye-catching displays, particularly the one against the Netherlands. I was so stunned, man. I was impressed. But even against France, they were the better side against France. You understand? Although it was more of a balanced game, but I feel like, Austria could have gotten something out of that game. They deserved it. But look, you understand? All through the grace of football, great football being played, they finished a top Group A, finishing first with 6 points above France as well as the Netherlands. I mean, those are 2 favorites to actually win this tournament. Christoph Baumgartner grabbed international headlines in March when he scored the fastest international goal of all time, just after 6 seconds. I will play you guys those highlights once again. And it was actually against Slovakia. And let's look at another side that will actually be featuring in the round of 16, which is Belgium. They've passed that golden generation of Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, Romelu Lukaku, Michy Batshuayi, Jan Vertonghen, Vincent Kompany, Thibaut Courtois, Simon Mignolet, Alderweireld, as well as Thomas Meunier, the likes of Nasser Chadli, the likes of, Yannick Carrasco, the likes of, Marwan Fellaini, Yuri Tillemans, and I can just keep going on and on. Guys, can you believe that Belgium had quality players, bro? There was that golden generation. Do you guys remember it? Including Hazard, Torgan Hazard. Ooh, that was a golden generation, ladies and gentlemen. But look, they've passed that golden generation. But although they still have Kevin De Bruyne, they've got Jeremy Doku, they've got Romelu Lukaku, they've also got Onana in the midfield, they still have Yuri Tillemans, they still have, experience, man. They still have players that often play at the highest level. There's also what you call Leandro Trossard, Yannick Carrasco is still there. So, guys, Belgium still have quality. Even though they've passed that golden generation, but look, they're still quality. I mean, also Luis Openda is there. So, I mean, I wouldn't even underestimate Belgium. Even Bakayoko, that fast, pacey, PSV winger as part of this team. So, I wouldn't really underestimate Belgium. I'm not gonna underestimate them. I'm still gonna count them as favorites. Okay, even though they haven't been convincing so far. After even losing that first game, that opening game, that was a shock defeat. That was one of the shocks of the tournament, losing to Slovakia by a 0-0. But they did redeem themselves with that 2-0 victory over Romania and then that 0-0 draw over Ukraine. But look, their best was actually, they made it to the final. Surprisingly, Belgium have never won this tournament. You understand? Although they reached the final in 1980, okay? And the last tournament, they made it to the quarterfinals, losing 2-1 to the eventual winners, Italy, okay? And Belgium, their tournament so far, how do I sum up their tournament? It was a stop-start opening to the tournament for Belgium, who have nevertheless made it to the knockout stage of a Euro for a third consecutive tournament. So, you look at their star man, Kevin De Bruyne, he has shown his brilliance on a couple of occasions. But it will actually be a difficult task, that awaits them in the round of 16 in the form of France, okay? And let's look at their coach, man. Domenico Tedesco. Born in the southern Italy, Tedesco, played in the German lower divisions before moving into coaching. In 2017, as a 31-year-old, he took charge of the German second-tier club, Erzgebirge, right? As well as helping them avoid relegation. And he later also managed Schalke, as well as Spartak Moscow in Russia, before actually winning the German Cup and reaching the Europa League semi-finals with Leipzig, now taking on his biggest challenge yet. Okay? So remember, coach, Tedesco was unbeaten for over a year after replacing Roberto Martinez in February 2023. Okay, so the next side that we're going to look at, of course, it doesn't come as a surprise that Denmark have progressed to, the knockout stages. Okay, however, they haven't even won a single game yet in this tournament. They drew all their games against Slovenia, England, as well as Serbia, but they made it because they finished second in their group. Okay, so it tells you how much of a tough group that was. Even though England are the favorites, they finished top with 5 points, but England have been far from convincing, to say the least. Look, Denmark, the best that they've ever achieved at a Euro tournament was when they actually won it in 1992. Okay, and then in the previous tournament, they made it to the semifinals, losing 2-1 after extra time to England, the eventual finalists of the previous tournament. And if I'm to sum up Denmark's tournament so far, okay, look at it. Denmark have made it to successful Euro knockout stages for the first time, following 3 draws, right, in Group C. And Christian Eriksen, he's been the star of the show. He has... Of course, it doesn't even come as a surprise. I mean, he has shown us, his creative flair. He also made the score sheet in that opener against Slovenia. And after progressing all the way to the semifinals at Euro 2020, Denmark, actually fear nobody. And even though they will actually have a tough task, but look, I don't think Denmark, should actually be fearful of the Germans going into that particular match. Yes, Germany are the host nations. Yes, I'm also rooting for Germany, but I don't want to underestimate Denmark. Denmark is a team that should never be underestimated. They are a team that are competitive. They basically are competitive. But look, let's look at their coach as well, their coaching credentials. What's his name again? Is it Kasper Helmand? Yeah, Kasper Helmand. Helmand actually led Denmark to the last 4 at the previous tournament. That was actually like their best result, since winning the 1992 edition. And the coach actually played an important role as the nation came together after Eriksen's off-field, on the field, cardiac arrest, and following a disappointing 2022 FIFA World Cup campaign. The former Lindby, as well as, Maine's boss, he will be actually aiming to give Denmark fans another summer to remember. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but it can be doable. Denmark drew all 3 of their group stage matches for the first time ever at a Euro or a World Cup. So this is actually their first time them not winning a single group stage, match, at a major tournament. You understand what I'm saying? And then let's look at, their fellow opponents, their fellow Group C opponents, who are the eventual winners, England, their performances have been so underwhelming. I don't want to lie to y'all. It's been so underwhelming. I still need to question myself that are these guys really still the favorites of winning this tournament? But I guess, we'll see. This is tournament football. Anything can happen in tournament football. You don't have to play the best of football, but you just have to make sure you get the results. Perhaps that's what England have done. England, yes, they made it drawing twice, winning once. Their maiden victory came over Serbia, and then they drew both of their games against, Denmark as well as Slovenia. They finished as group winners, you understand? And they've never won this tournament, surprisingly. Yeah, England. Surprisingly, guys, they've never won this tournament. Their best came as runners-up in the previous tournament, okay? And they lost 3-2 on penalties to Italy after a 1-1 draw, following the 90 minutes as well as the extra time. They couldn't find the back of the net. And England were not at their flow. They haven't been at their free-flowing best in Group C. But yeah, they still top their section, their group, and remain unbeaten. Glimpses of the geniuses that can be produced by forwards such as, Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, Phil Foden, they were seen in all games, but I'm not convinced, man. I'm just not convinced, man. It's just really hard to tell that if England can they really still win this tournament. Because in all 3 games, the coach Gareth Southgate, he will now know that his best players really need to perform on a more consistent basis. You understand? Would stand a test ahead of the knockouts. And after reaching a Euro final as well as a World Cup quarterfinal and semi-final in his 3 major tournaments in charge, Southgate has to win this tournament. And I know he will be desperate to be full-time lucky. Remember now, he did feature as a centre-back for the 3 Lions, hugely popular with his players. And he will actually seek to get the best out of the vast amount of the talent that is at his disposal in the knockout phases. Okay? And England have now won their group in both Euro campaigns under Southgate as many times as they had topped their pool in their previous 8 tournament appearances. And again, another side that I count as favorites that have also been underwhelming is France. Le Bleu, the 2-time winners. They're 2018 World Cup champions. They've been very underwhelming. By all means, they have. Yes, they won against Austria. That was their maiden victory. They finished runners-up behind Austria. Okay? And they drew against Netherlands as well as Poland. And let's just say it, France have won this tournament twice. Okay? That was long that was a long time ago. I think that was even in Didier Deschamps' playing days. Their coach, Didier Deschamps. That was in his playing days. I'm sure that was in his playing days when they won this particular tournament because they've won it twice in those years, in 1984 as well as 2000. And remember last time out, they made it to the round of 16, losing 5-4 on penalties to Switzerland, right? That was a great game to actually watch. France have failed to win their group for the first time ever since Euro 2012. Following up a battling victory over Austria with draws over the Netherlands as well as Poland. And they do remain unbeaten though. And Kylian Mbappe got off the mark with a penalty in their final Group D game. But Didier Deschamps will actually have to set his sights on, fixing this side once again, reaching a 6th major final with his country. He made it to a World Cup final as well as a Euro showpiece as a player and has contested 2 World Cup finals and 1 Euro decider as a coach. But, Didier Deschamps, one of the most decorated figures in world football, Deschamps will actually strive to get his hands on the one trophy that has evaded his clutches as a coach. He came agonizingly close in 2016, and the heartbreak should stoke the fire within this fierce competitor. A cool character and a measured communicator, but he looks well placed to actually lead his side to glory. Remember, France lost to Portugal on home soil in 2016. That was even a surprise. But yeah, it was actually Ede who scored. Ede. But look, France, they've got Antoine Griezmann as well. Remember, Antoine Griezmann holds the record for the most consecutive appearances in international football history. He has actually featured in 84 games between August 2017 as well as November 2023. And who would have thought? Georgia reaching the knockout stages. Who would have thought, guys? Who would have really thought that Georgia would make it to the knockout stages? I mean, this is a team that is making their maiden tournament appearance. Okay? Despite, yes, they finished third in Group F, and because the reason why they've progressed to the knockout stages is that they were one of the best third-place teams. Okay, so that's how the format is. Obviously, it's the winners and then the runners-up, and then the teams that actually have the best head-to-head record that finish in third place. I think it's 3 or 4 of them that actually progress as well to the knockout stages. And look at this, man. This is only their debut. Georgia are only making their debut in this tournament, and it's been a great revelation for Georgia. Appearing in their first major international tournament, they have lit up the competition with entertaining attacking brand of football. And the highlight of the victory over European heavyweights Portugal, with their starman Kevishka Kvaratskhelia scoring and shining throughout. I mean, the last time I saw someone dribbling the way he was dribbling in this particular game was that man from Rosario. You know who I'm talking about, guys. That man from Rosario. That was the last time I ever saw someone dribbling the way this boy was dribbling in this particular encounter. But look, they've been an absolute joy to watch. They've shocked me. They've really shocked all of us. And let's look at their coach, man. The credentials of the man on the touchline, Willie Sagnol. He is a multi-decorated player at club and as well as at international level. And Sagnol, takes a major step forward as a coach at this tournament, using his huge big match experience. He found the right words to actually motivate his players for their qualifying playoffs. And the 47-year-old, he has an air of authority and is giving Georgia the confidence to actually tackle this debut Euro with a sense of ambition beyond even being there. You understand? And Georgia have qualified for the first time as an independent country, although 3 representatives of the nation won this competition's inaugural edition in 1960 as the USSR. Oh, that was way back. Way back. Let's get straight to the host, Germany. Okay, we know how Germany progressed. That 5-1 thumping of Scotland on the opening day, the 2-0 victory over Hungary, as well as that, dramatic equalizer that they scored against Switzerland, which garnered them the draw because Switzerland could have finished as group winners had they held on to their 1-0 advantage. But Nicholas Füllkrug, the man of the big moment, the man of the occasions, the Borussia Dortmund striker, he did it for Dortmund in the Champions League. Now he's doing it for Germany. At the biggest stage, at Europe's biggest international stage, the Euro. Nicholas Füllkrug. Yes, sir. So look, Germany have won this tournament 3 times, okay? And themselves as well as Spain have won this tournament 3 times, right? The most of any other side in this particular tournament, okay? Last time out, they made it to the round of 16, losing to the eventual finalists, England, losing by 2-0. But let's just say this, man. Remember Germany started in stylish fashion, thrilling the Munich crowd with a superb 5-1 victory over Scotland. And that's the best way you get a tournament underway. And it was actually a hard-fought victory as well as against Hungary, followed in Stuttgart. And although they fell behind to Switzerland in their final Group A match in Frankfurt, but it was actually that stoppage time, Nicholas Füllkrug equalizer that ensured that Julian Nagelsmann topped the group and remain unbeaten going into the knockout stages. And Jamal Musiala has been, Musiala. I think people disrespect the boy so much. The fact that they compare him to Bellingham, they compare Bellingham to him, is complete disrespect. Not that I'm undermining Bellingham's qualities or capabilities whatsoever, but the Bellingham as well as Musiala are 2 different players. You understand? And they are on different levels. You understand? I get the fact that English media like hyping up their players, but I don't understand what the hype is all about. Because Musiala has been impressive. He's been impressive. Oh, he's been a joy to watch. He actually has got 2 goals to his name in this particular tournament. And I want us to also look on the man of the touchline, man. Julian Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann has been on something of a roller coaster ride since succeeding Hansi Flick, in September 2023. But a strong group campaign has instilled optimism as well as belief among the players and fans. But the tactically astute 36-year-old selects players based on form, and convincing Toni Kroos to return from international retirement could turn out to be the best move yet. Understand? And Germany are appearing at a record 14th Euro. You understand? They did not qualify for the first 3 editions, which was 1960, 1964, and 1968, but they have not missed the tournament ever since they have qualified. Since then, in 1972. Okay? And let's talk about the, defending champions, Italy. Oh, what a weak side, eh? The defending champions, but again, Italy, let me tell you something about Italy. Remember Italy, I get it that they've passed that, golden generation stage. When they had players like Gianluigi Buffon, back in the day they had Alessandro Del Piero, they had players like, Antonio Cassano over the years, they've had Mario Balotelli, they've had Andrea Pirlo, they've had Gennaro Gattuso, they've had also Fabio Coccarella, they've also had, players like, Nesta playing in that defense, they've had Maldini before, Paolo Maldini, one of the best center backs of all time. They've also had Cannavaro, the last defender to actually win a Ballon d'Or. They've actually had players like Antonio Di Natale. They've had players like, Francesco Totti, Daniele De Rossi. Oh man, those are just world-class players. And the list goes on and on and on and on. But now what's going on, man? Because this Italy side, I'm not underestimating it. I'm not undermining it. But I don't really see those world-class players of the past, man. That, that used to get me on the edge of my seat, where I would be so excited to watch them. You understand? Because now, who do they have? They have Chiesa, I get it. They have Dermaco, I get it. Lorenzo Pellegrini, yes, he's been impressive for Roma, over the, previous couple of seasons or so. Who else do they have? Okay, Scamacca, he's deadly in front of goal. Okay. I get, they do have players, but most of these players, yes, it's more of experience mixed with players that are currently in their prime, that have actually been on a great, decent form. But I wouldn't necessarily take it to that exaggeration where they are world-class. The only world-class player from this Italy squad that I will say is DeMarco. Yeah, Federico DeMarco. He's the only world-class player. As well as Nicola Barella. Ooh, Barella. But I haven't seen him really play much for Italy. As well as, I wouldn't want to undermine the qualities of their goalkeeper, Gianluigi Donnarumma, GG, the GG man. He's a great goalkeeper. I mean, he's horrendous for PSG. You understand, at club level he's horrendous, but when he dons this t-shirt, when he dons his national team colors, he's a different monster. Straight up. Italy have won this tournament twice, both in 1968 as well as in 2020. And they are the defending champions coming into this one. Okay, they've had an underwhelming group campaign. Narrowly winning to Albania 2-1, as well as losing to Spain and scoring that last minute equalizer against Croatia to deny Croatia a place in the knockout stages. The Azzurri did leave it late to actually clinch qualification, but they confirmed their place as Group B runners-up, courtesy of that Matteo Zaccagni dramatic 98th minute equalizer against Croatia in Leipzig. And prior to that, Luciano Spalletti's team had recovered from conceding the fastest goal in Euro history, which was 23 seconds, to actually win their opener against Albania, with only disappointment so far, to that 1-0 defeat to Spain. But the holders are aiming to become just the second side to win back-to-back Euros after Spain did it in 2008 and 2012. Luciano Spalletti, he's a much-traveled, Tuscan. Remember, he took over Roberto Mancini late August last year. And just after leading Napoli to a historic Scudetto, he wasted little time in, conveying his football philosophy to the Azzurri, helping them reach the finals in Germany and starting to rebuild the squad by mixing veterans of the Euro 2020's triumph with a new generation of players. And the goalkeeper, Gianluigi Donnarumma, he has conceded just 2 of his last 7 penalties he has faced at Euros, right? Including the shootouts, So remember, he did save a couple of penalties. I think he saved 3 or 2, if I'm not mistaken, in that final victory over England. Again, another team that I can count as the favorites but have been underwhelming is the Netherlands. And the Netherlands, okay, Netherlands, Holland. Putin. Okay, so yeah, they've also been underwhelming, very unconvincing deep down. The fact that they even finished third tells you how unconvincing they were, and in Group D, and the fact that they're also counted as the favorites is, to deliver those kind of performance, those kind of subpar performances is as an insult, for a team that is actually considered favorites to actually go all the way and win this tournament. They should be doing way better, right? The fact that, yes, they've won, they beat Poland in the first game, which was also another unconvincing performance. And the performance against France, it was pretty balanced, pretty much in the balance. And the one against Austria told me that, no, man, nah, this is not what you expect from them. Look, Netherlands have only won this tournament once, going all the dating back to 1988, okay? And they made it to the round of 16 in the last tournament, losing to Czech Republic, surprisingly. It has actually been a mixed start for the Netherlands. After beginning with a very decent comeback over Poland, the Netherlands have managed to keep a clean sheet in a goalless draw against France. And shortly before that dramatic 3-2, defeat to Austria, it left them going through as one of the best third-placed outfits. And a bright spark has been, Cody Gakpo, who has scored 2 goals to date. Ronald Koeman had a stuttering start for his second spell in charge of the Netherlands, losing 3 of his first 4 matches against France, Croatia, and Italy. Okay, those are formidable opponents. But remember, when you want to be the best, if you want to be the best, you have to beat those particular teams. You have to beat the best to be the best. Okay. Yes, however, he did steady the ship. Okay, and the Dutch have won all their qualifying games. You understand? Those against the French. And the Euro winner as a player in 1988, Ronald Koeman, right? At 61 years old, I'm sure he would achieve immortality in the Netherlands if he repeated the feat as a coach, okay? And remember, Cody Gakpo has scored 5 of the Netherlands' last 8 group stage goals at the Euro and both at the World Cups. No other Dutchman has netted more than once in those matches. Let's go to the 2016 champions, Portugal, okay? Portugal emerged as Group F winners, okay? Both collecting 6 points in their first, first 2 matches, defeating Czech Republic as well as Turkey, and then going on to lose in that shock defeat to Georgia. Remember, Portugal did win this tournament in 2016 on French soil against the hosts, France, in the final. Last time out, they lost to Belgium in the round of 16. They were knocked out at this stage of the competition, losing 1-0 to Belgium. And a last gasp win over the Czech Republic was followed by a commanding victory over Turkey. And Portugal hit the ground running in Germany. Roberto Martinez, he then had the luxury of being able to rotate his team against Georgia in a match that they could afford to lose and which they did lose. Cristiano Ronaldo is yet to open his account for the tournament as he attempts to score in 6 consecutive editions. Okay? Roberto Martinez, Fernando Santos' replacement, has made an impressive start as Portugal's boss, overseeing a perfect qualifying campaign and safely navigating Group F at this tournament. The Spaniard has also won over fans and players by learning to communicate in excellent Portuguese, while his new tactical ideals appear to be extracting the best from a preternaturally talented players at his disposal. And the Seleca have a 100% record of reaching Euro knockout stages, coming through the group stage 9 times. All right. And Romania, again, another surprise package, defeating Ukraine as well as, securing that draw in their last game against Slovakia. They only lost to Belgium, by 2-0. And their best run of form in this competition came in 2000 when they reached the quarterfinals, right? They didn't qualify for the previous edition, but Romania have reached the knockouts phase of a Euro for the first time in 24 years. And they did so in style, winning Group E. That was unlikely. No one would have predicted that. Their 3-0 victory over Ukraine was a highlight, So Edward, Ian Descu, his side actually put up a wonderful attacking display in front of their adoring fans in Munich. Their task now is to emulate or even go better than the famous team of Euro 2000, who reached the quarterfinals before being defeated by Italy, right? Remember their coach, Edward Io Danescu. He is the son of Angel Io Danescu, right? So Ionescu Junior's Romania came through qualifying unscathed to book their place at the Euro following an 8-year absence. Synonymous with a modern and meticulous approach to match preparation, Ionescu intends to actually build an exciting new generation for the national team. He is actually striving to extract the max from his players and gave the traveling Romania fans plenty to cheer about. So Edward Ionescu's father, Achel, coached the team to the World Cup quarterfinals in 1994. Their joint best performance at a major championship. Slovakia once won this tournament before, but back then they were known as Czechoslovakia. Okay, that's in 1976 when they were known as Czechoslovakia. Round of 16, they made it to the round of 16 in 2016. Okay, and the last tournament they didn't progress past the group stages, so they were knocked out in the group stages. Slovakia got off to a stunning start, upsetting the odds to overcome Belgium in their first game, through an early Ivan Shran's strike, as well as a defeat to Ukraine followed. But, they held their nerve to earn a point against Romania, and with it, a place in the knockouts, as a result of being one of the best third-place teams. Francesco Calzona's men will actually be a tough task for anyone. So Francesco Calzona, took the reins in August, 2022, replacing Pavel Happel. He started with a home stalemate against Luxembourg, in the Euro qualifying, but he has not looked back since, guiding Slovakia to victories in all their remaining games, other than those against, table-topping Portugal from February to the end of the season. He combined the national team job with, head coach position at Napoli. So Euro 2016 was Slovakia's first European Championship final since the separation of Czechoslovakia in 1993. So Jan Kozak's team reached the round of 16, being eliminated by Germany. Slovenia. And then Slovenia, this is their first time in their history that they've qualified beyond the group stages whenever they've featured at this tournament. Remember last time they didn't qualify, okay? So Slovenia have qualified for the Euro knockout stages for the first time, and the scenes of wild celebrations after their draw with England show just what it meant to the country. With the experienced Jan Oblak in goal and the exciting Benjamin Sesko causing problems for the defenses, the representanker are not to be underestimated. So back for a second, European Championship after steering Slovenia to the 2010 World Cup, the former central defender resumed command in November 2018. Leading his charges to promotion from League C in the Uefa Nations League before overseeing a successful Euro qualifying campaign. After giving Slovenia's Group C rivals a run for their money, the 62-year-old will be confident that his men can do the same in the knockouts. So Slovenia have drawn 5 of their last 6 matches at the Euro Championship. That ratio is 83%. It's basically higher than any other team. Whereas there's La Española, La Roja, 9 points. They're the only team that have actually collected 9 points. The only team that have won all their matches so far in this tournament. And they're the only team that are really making a statement. They are making their intentions known. Spain, La Roja, La Española, right? They've won this tournament 3 times, the most, the joint most, right, alongside Germany. And last time out, they reached the semifinals, losing 4-2 on penalties to the eventual winners, Italy. So remember, La Roja have begun this Euro in fine form, winning all 3 matches and being the only team to do so, and scoring 5 goals in the process. While they haven't conceded yet. They've also not conceded yet. And Lamine Yamal also made history by becoming the youngest player to feature in the Euro against Croatia, while Alvaro Morata is now the joint 3rd top goal scorer overall in the tournament after notching his 7th goal in the same game. Spain will become the first side to actually win 4 Euro titles if they do triumph in Germany. And their coach, Luis de la Fuente, a likable Basque who won the Spanish La Liga as a fullback with Athletic Bilbao, the boss has the winning habit. His squad won the UEFA Nations League last summer, and he previously led the Spanish national team to the Euro glory under at the underage levels, right? So the under 19s in 2015 as well as the under 21s in 2019. So the levels he can summon from his big players will dictate the Spain's trajectory in the knockout stage. Remember, Spain are the only national team to have won 3 continental, and World Cup titles in a row, which was the Euro 2008, the 2010 World Cup, as well as the Euro 2012. Let's look at Switzerland. Of course, I'm not surprised to see Switzerland in the next round. Switzerland, their best surprisingly came in the previous edition, only making it to the quarterfinals, right? So Switzerland defeated France by 3-1, right? 3-1 via penalty shootouts in the previous, tournament, at this stage of the tournament, right? And they went on to actually lose to Spain, right? In the very same tournament via penalty shootouts, right? So they've been unbeaten in all 3 games. You understand? They're yet to lose. So Switzerland are basically looking strong under the leadership of Murat Yakin. It was actually a convincing victory over Hungary, preceded in a battling draw with Scotland, which featured a wonderful curling strike from the former Bayern Munich, Liverpool and Inter Milan, star player Xherdan Shaqiri. So the native were only moments away from earning one of their most impressive results of the tournament when they led host Germany. But Füllkrug broke their hearts with the late leveler, and they will not actually be demoralized, you understand, because they did comfortably qualify from Group A. Let's look at their coach, Murat Yakin. So the 49-year-old has occupied the helm since summer 2021. He oversaw Switzerland's run to the last 16 at the 2022 World Cup, where they reached the knockout phase for a 5th straight tournament after a low-key end to their Euro 2024 qualifying bid. So Yakin's team have regained their frame consistency, and they will attempt to actually extend their impressive streak in the knockouts. Euro 1996 was Switzerland's first ever European Championships, and this year marks their 6th appearance in this particular tournament in their last 8 editions. Turkey, on the other hand, they started off by winning one of the most entertaining games of the tournament, seeing off Georgia in Dortmund in a match that had everything. Defeat to Portugal in the same stadium followed, but Vincenzo Montella's team had then managed to actually come through their 3rd fixture against the 10-man Czech Republic unscathed, winning late through Cenk Tosun, the former Everton striker. So remember, Turkey, their best run in this particular tournament came in 2008 when they made it to the semi-finals. And remember, they made it to the group. They didn't qualify beyond the group stages in the previous edition. So let's talk about Vincenzo Montella. After 2 successful seasons in charge of the Adana Demirspor in the Turkish Super League, Montella was named national team coach with 3 Euro 2024 qualifying matches still to play, leading Turkey to the championship with victories over Croatia, Latvia and a draw with Wales. Having helped Italy reach the Euro 2000 final as a player, Montella is making his first appearance as a coach at the European Championship. So Turkey were in the same group as Portugal as well as Czech Republic in Euro 2008. They then defeated the latter in their final group stage matches in both 2008 and 2016, triumphing 3-2 as well as 2-0 respectively. So I'm looking forward to this one. Are you guys looking forward to the matches? Who will actually progress to the last 8 of this tournament and who will actually win? You tell me. Let me know in the comments. Azish.